everybody, it's Romania Black. So on the Discord for Patreon, if you are a Patreon member, you can be part of the Discord, and we have a Neon Genesis channel. And on that channel, we've been talking about the episodes week to week, talking about sharing screenshots, sharing fan art as it becomes spoiler-free appropriate, and sharing things about the series in general. And as we've gotten closer to End of Evangelion, Bright Girl, who's a fellow patron that I want to give a special shout out to, was like, did you know, because they know how much I loved episode 24. Episode 24 may be my favorite episode of the series, or at least one of them. And so at least in the top 5, right? And so they were like, wow, you really liked episode 24. Did you know that there were 2 alternate drafts of the script? And I was like, what? And so I had to wait until I watched End of Evangelion because Bright Girl said that there were some Evangelion spoilers that were in the episode scripts, and they were like, you probably need to wait till you're done watching End of Evangelion just to be safe, and then you can go on and read the alternate script. So I thought it'd be fun to do like an alternate script reading with you all, just to see the 2 drafts, see how they're similar and different. We've just finished talking endlessly about End of Evangelion, so why not add to it, right? Why not backtrack to everybody's favorite episode 24, and talk about the scripts and the material that was not used and kind of the sort of history behind it. Because I thought that'd be really cool to kind of react to and review to. I've not read these scripts at all. I pinned, Bright Girl posted in the Discord the links to the 2 of them from the Eva Geeks wiki. And so I pinned them until tonight and I've opened them up, but I've not read anything about them. So that's what we're going to do. So I thought this would be a nice little thing to kind of like cool down after End of Evangelion and prep for the Rebuild movies, because I'm going to start Rebuild 1.11 next week and dive into that. So I thought this would be a very good kind of like precursor to that, like a little tone down from End of Evangelion, catch your breath, have a little fun. I poured myself a cocktail because I'm like, it's red for Kaworu's eyes, and there may be some Grey Goose in this. But I thought, you know what? It's fine. We'll just celebrate tonight and go over these alternate scripts and just have fun with it. A nice little like break, like an intermission between End of Evangelion and the Rebuild. So I hope you're all excited, but I'll have up here on the side, I'll go through the page so you guys can kind of follow along and read as well. But I'll also have links down below in the description so that you can also follow along as well if this is not legible for you. I had to take my contacts out, so I didn't have my contacts on, but I realized I went and got my hair done today and I look like Yui Akari. It's like when the hairdresser got done, I went, theme appropriate. So seems appropriate. And it was right before as I'm recording this, I'm in the middle of doing End of Evangelion analyses. So I was like, wow, okay, on theme for this fall. So let's dive in and talk about these 2 rough drafts of episode 24, because there's a lot going on in episode 24, quite a bit. So we're going to look at that here in 3, 2, 1. Episode 24 has a lot going on in it, and so I'm very curious to see like if the true drafts just rearranged things, if they added new elements, if there was dialogue. I have been spoiled a little bit that there's some Kaworu and Shinji content in here, and I'm like, okay, now wait a minute. What we're getting at? But they were like, I'm not telling you. You'll have to find out for yourself. So this is from the wiki Eva Geeks. As an English teacher, I feel horrible going to a wiki page to find information, because I should be like, no, you don't use Wikipedia as a source, but this is on English paper. It is a reaction to a script, so we're fine. But I do want to look at this overview here. So the early draft for episode 24 was printed in the magazine June, the supplement of the September 1996 issue. Fun times. From this page that they give us a draft from, the draft was credited to Akio Satsukawa, an Evangelion scriptwriter that also worked with Anno in 9 other episodes, such as episodes 6, 9, 15, and 21. Cool. Anno and Satsukawa also worked together during Nadia prior to Neon Genesis Evangelion. These episode 24 drafts had not yet gone under Anno's revision and are attributed only to Satsukawa, unlike the definitive draft as seen in the Evangelion original companion books. There's so much Eva content, I can't imagine, really. Thus, these should not be considered Anno's authorial intent due to his lack of direct involvement, rejection of elements included, and subsequent modifications by him and other staff into the final script aired on episode 24. So it's almost like not a ghostwriter, but it's when somebody pumps out a draft of fan fiction and they're like, what about this? And then the creator's like, no, they're going to change this around. So that's interesting. These drafts include indications of their earlier production, contradicting central plot elements as early as episode 15. Ooh, so we're going to get some elements that kind of tie back to when they were making changes to the plot, right? Some elements thought up by Satsukawa for these drafts, such as Shinji's cello playing, were moved to other episodes he worked on. Oh, cool. So they brought up the cello. All right. Anno explains how elements present here went against his ideas to a larger degree than other rejected proposals. The public bath scene was made more casual to reflect it as the open social occurrence it is in its native interpretations. In his native countryside, many of the plot points here caused backlash from Anno and staff for straying so much from early ideas, with staff expressing surprise at interpretations. Additionally, some details were even missed due to the late production time constraints, such as Kaworu not being supposed to touch Shinji's hand. Oh, character designer Sadamoto later noted how Satsukawa diverged from the original outline as a little boy possessed by a cat, the actual angel. What? Okay. This idea would get referenced in the manga later. Okay, so we're going to go with that in the manga. Interesting. Kaworu's character seems to be the most diverged from Anno's early ideas. Notably, he was the only one not named by him, but rather Satsukawa. Anno later also expressed he communicated Kaworu's character poorly and denied thinking much about any yaoi elements. You didn't think much on that? I didn't realize they'd take it this way. That's hilarious, actually. I didn't think that they would think that him and Shinji blushing would get taken in a misconstrued way. I don't know where they got that from. That's great. All right, so this is an English translation by Good Haro. So it's always, anytime anything is translated in English, it's always interesting because translation is such a finicky thing and such a funny business, and the one word can be translated the wrong way from a native speaker being like, well, it doesn't mean that. So if there's things on here, I'm curious to know in the comments, those of you that know Japanese or have the original script, if some things in these two drafts are a bit different. That would be interesting to note. So yeah, okay. So the final angel. All right, instead of the final messenger. Nice, okay. So I'm not going to read through this 100% in the ooh, a humanoid weapon. The Eva 00 and Gendo and Futsuki. Ooh, the new prototype. Was that like Alpha Eva? The miniature Evangelion, was it? What do we need? What do we have for something like this now times? It's the prototype for the Human Instrumentality Project. Wasn't there a need to make arrangements to reach the site? Let's keep her. Plan E still isn't complete. According to Seal's script, there's one angel remaining. I like that they aren't even subtle about it. They're like Plan E. I wonder what the E stands for. Okay, so the test plugs in the control room. The worst numbers the two of them have made yet. Asuka and Rei are shown with test plugs on a monitor. The data shows that both their sync rates tend to fluctuate. Asuka's results are probably because of mental stress, and Rei's are probably physical. Interesting. I like that it's Rei being physical and Asuka mental. That's actually kind of clever because Asuka has all of this mental damage, and with Rei, she's like beaten to a pulp every 5 episodes and has died 2 times. So that's curious. So none of them can pilot the Eva like this. Of course not. Ritsuko's been trying to find a replacement pilot. Oh, so this is giving a reason why they were looking for the other pilot. So I kind of like in this draft that it's not, the whole blame isn't exactly placed on Asuka, but we're not getting anything with Asuka and her past in this, which I really like that part at the beginning. So, this will be the first pilot who doesn't come from the Murdoch report. I'm a little worried. Professor Akagi's being a little overzealous. She's been in such a hurry lately. Ooh, I like it. Okay, maybe she was against the Instrumentality Project. In secret, in this draft at least. The outskirts of Tokyo 3 in front of the turnstiles of a train station. And Ritsuko and Shinji are waiting for their train. Ooh! Interesting. Akagi and Shinji have like never been by themselves except for in episode, what was it, 2023, 20? The one with all the rays? Oh, Shinji blocking the wind so that Ritsuko can light a cigarette? It's a visual I was not expecting to see in this. What? You're always looking out for other people. You don't even get a break at home, do you? The three of us are really together. Uh-huh. I guess I'm the one who's been sowing the seeds of your house's ruin. It's not your fault. Work is work after all. Masato seems to be drinking more. Such a weird conversation. Shinji, have you ever fallen in love? Not yet. We're just going to spill the tea on Masato right here and right now. In Masato's heart, Kaji was physically part of her. Now he's gone, it's finally hit her. But sometimes those painful feelings become so overwhelming it becomes unbearable. And on those nights, sometimes we, in general, need to rely on the power of alcohol. Justifying her alcoholism, okay. Will I understand that sort of thing better once I fall in love? When you understand it, it means you become an adult. All right, the fifth child is here. Oh! He wears a cute navy sailor suit remains on the platform. In the heat haze. And sparkles against the light, his hair the color of honey. What? He is bewitched by his divine beauty. Shinji meets Kaworu's gaze. His heart pounds. No, there are some BL undertones with this script draft. Anna was probably like, oh, no, that's very obvious. Wow, no, that's like on the nose. Wow, although, I have to say, even though this is pretty much rejected from the final draft, there is something there about Ritsuko telling him about Masato and Kaji being a physical part of her, that when we get to episodes 25 and 26, and Shinji is seeing that part of Masato's backstory, you almost wonder if this had been the draft that they used, if that train of thought about Shinji knowing about Kaji and Masato being physical would have maybe tied into that in any way. And her saying that when you understand it, it means you become an adult. That kind of ties into End of Evangelion, which is fascinating, right? The special train pulls out of the station. I will say though, you can tell this is the first draft, and I love Kaworu showing up on the statue of the angel because of how it ties into End of Evangelion. I like that symbolism of him being on the headless statue of the angel. So the train station's fine. The B elements are fun, but at the end of the day, I like the idea that he appeared on the angel. I think it's symbolically much better, right? So the Geo front lobby, okay. Kaworu is meeting the three EVA pilots. Oh, he meets them all at once. Okay. I'm Nagisa Kaworu. Pleased to meet you. And her eyes sparkle. Interesting, Asuka. Nice to meet you. And Ray's deadpan you too. And Shinji looks a bit forlorn. One thing that's starkly different in this already is that we don't have the suicidal Asuka from the beginning, and we don't have that. And then them just casually meeting Kaworu like, hey, what's up, friend? It just doesn't have that ominous vibe that 24 has, and it doesn't have near the trauma. So you can tell Anno didn't have a part in this yet, right? And so Flash goes off. No, of course, Masato is like, he's quite a beauty. Top of his class, and his athletic ability is prodigy level 2. Masato says, I hope Shinji doesn't develop an inferiority complex over him. He seemed a little down today. You worry too much. Well, Ritsuko just had to talk about first loves with him, and then he met his first love, so yeah, you could say that. Kinsuke's voice. Oh, it's Ida! Oh, sup? Oh, is that you kids come pick up your sick pal? Oh! So we get Toji and Ida in this. Oh, I asked the receptionist, but you're getting discharged tomorrow. Things will be going pretty well for me starting next week. When you're all better, are you going to pilot again? Nah, they decided to give me a break. Oh. It's about as normal as it goes. We did get a transfer student recently. We're getting Toji and Ida content. That's fascinating. I guess you could call a pretty boy. He pales in comparison to me, though. Check out the girls. Of course the girls would react. He says the bitches are showing their true colors. Yeah, that does sound a bit harsh. That does sound a bit harsh. I can't imagine Toji saying bitches. That does seem a little out of character for him. He's only transferred in. He already has a fan club. Save a very tiny fraction. And Ray's disinterested, of course. She's always like that. Soryu looks down too. Oh. And he's going to be an EVA pilot, so she feels that inferiority complex to Kaworu as well. Interesting. She sees him as a rival, and her sync tests haven't been going well lately. Huh. I just can't believe we just avoided all of Asuka's trauma, and now Asuka's thing is that she's feeling another bout of inferiority complex from Kaworu as well as Shinji. But I can't believe Ida and Toji are still here. The prince of the class in 3 days. I don't like... Of course Toji doesn't like him. Oh man, Toji having the foresight. Suzuhara, you're always like that with newcomers. You even hated Shinji, if I recall. How's that Shinji kid doing anyway? Oh yeah, we haven't seen him. Oh, okay. Huh, that's kind of crazy, right? The classroom after school. Shinji is sitting at his seat, burying his face between his arms and his desk. No one else is in the room but him. And we hear a piano player coming from somewhere. Okay, so Hikari's still there. I thought you'd gone with Ida to visit Suzuhara in the hospital. It's complicated. Ooh. Nagisa's playing. He's really good, isn't he? Well, I'm off. Oh, Nagisa playing on the piano? Ooh! I could see it. That's such a... God, this script version is definitely... It leans into the BL elements absolutely already. It's already leaning into it, okay? Interesting, because I mean, like, I think of Given, I think of, like, the hot guy playing piano and Shinji, like, goes to see who it is, and it's this romantic moment. I mean, there's so many BL series that I've read that involve, like, a guy playing piano and luring the other guy in, okay. Shinji's memory, the station. He meets Kaworu's gaze and smiles. Pleased to meet you. Same here. And he blushes here too, okay. Oh. It ends at an unnatural point. Shinji's going in the music room. Okay, nobody's in there. He can't catch up with the footsteps. At which point the PA system comes on and plays the string piece Winter from Vivaldi's Four Seasons. Ooh! I like the announcer on the telecom is like, it's time to go home. Any students on campus, go home. Like, get out. Huh. And the schoolyard. The end of the day broadcast echoes through the yard. The athletic clubs stream by as their practice ends. Shinji looks around, but Kaworu's nowhere to be seen. The members are all cleaning up and they look up to the sky and it starts raining. Even though the sun is still shining, large drops fall from the sky. The students rush in the building. Shinji's enveloped by the golden rain. Ooh, I like that visual though. I like the visual of Shinji caught in the rain. And the thing about it is the old tale is that if it rains during sunshine, that means it's going to rain the exact same time the next day. Like if it rains at 2 o'clock on a Monday and it's sunny outside, then that means Tuesday it's going to rain at the same time again. That's the old wives' tale, as my grandmother would say. Okay, the road home. He walks alone. Oh, Kaworu walks alone home with an umbrella in the sun shower. Oh, and Shinji gets under his umbrella! What? Kaworu stops in his tracks and raises his umbrella a bit. Shinji hesitates a bit before joining him. Well, why'd you run towards him if you weren't going to get under the umbrella? Are you heading to Nerve? Yes. Then let's go together. What? Where was this scene? scene of Kaworu and Shinji walking in the rain under an umbrella. Like Rihanna playing in the background. ALLLL. What is this? Ray is drying herself over. I like that meanwhile, Ray walked in the rain by herself, but she was not offered an umbrella from Kaworu. There's a vivid rainbow over Tokyo 3. No! Oh, this is too on the nose. It's too on the nose. There's no way Anno's probably reading this going, well, there's no question now. These two guys walking under an umbrella together in the rain in a golden shower towards Nerve, and an umbrella appears, a rainbow appears over the geofront. Nope, that's too on the nose. I want to see it though. I know it's very fanficky. It reads like that, right? It seems that way, but I'm like, no, I want to see it so bad. I want someone to animate it, please. Come on, Anno. For like the 30th anniversary of Neon Genesis, just animate this for us. We all want it. Okay, Asuka enters and tries to raise the ramp to Unit 2. Oh. Asuka, you're on standby. Standby. The 5th child will be taking the O2 unit today. Oh. I thought you hated me, Shinji. Why? I got the feeling you were avoiding me. I wasn't trying to, really, really. Giggling! Oh, Asuka. How's the 5th child doing? His sync rate's high. Okay, so this is far beyond Asuka's personal best. So does that mean he's confirmed as a replacement pilot? Only after we get the results of Unit 2 startup test. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Kaworu, they're having fun talking to each other. Why can't we have nice things? This is so retro shoji, it burns. There's Sama-ing Kaworu in this. Oh my god. I'm calling Ikari a leech. Oh my god. They even shared, so everybody knows that they shared an umbrella. Oh, what? This is so a BL plot. Do you have any suspicions about Kaworu and Ikari? I mean, they are. Asuka, they are an item after all. Asuka! There you know. I don't believe it. And she feels a little bit bad about it, but sticks her tongue out and feigns ignorance. Asuka, girl. Although, is that out of character for Asuka to start a gossipy rumor about Kaworu and Shinji? A little bit out of character for her, I think. Kinsuke shops Shinji. Shinji, I was gonna throw Toji a party to celebrate getting out of the hospital. And Shinji, I can't, I got a prior engagement. Oh, that's too bad. Later then, dick move, Shinji! Dick move indeed! Okay, no. No, that's out of character for Shinji, right? Isn't it? Is it? Shinji to abandon Kinsuke, to abandon Ida and Toji, to going out with Kaworu? I mean, is it out of character? That's an interesting. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below about that. That does seem dick move indeed, though. Old Town near Odawara that was submerged 15 years ago with ruins of buildings and sticks out of the ocean. They gaze at the scene from the breakwater. Oh, so is this like on the beach, like where we actually first see Kaworu and Shinji? It's like Bruges in the play. And I'm going to mispronounce that, the Todestat, so beautiful and desolate. What's that? The story of a man who closes himself away in a house in the city of death, not wanting to forget his young wife who died. The man calls one of the rooms the Temple of Memories, which he carefully fills with his late wife's belongings to maintain her memory. But a dancer who looks just like his wife appears and throws his heart into confusion. He learns that life and death are different things and finally resolves to leave the city of death. Hey, how about a swim? Did we just become best friends? That's the most awkward transition of, he just told you this big philosophical story about a man learning about the meaning of life and that he has to leave those that have died behind. He can't dwell on them forever. And then he follows that with, want a skinny dip? Like, I just... Oh, I didn't bring a swimsuit. We'll just swim in the nude. Kaworu's such an enabler. No one's here after all. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. We're both boys. Let's go. And strips off his sailor suit. I love that Kaworu's in a sailor suit, for the record. I love that he's in a sailor suit. And so we're in the sea, naked. Oh. Stands Kaworu without a shred of clothing on. His supple limbs float to the surface of the sparkling water. Shinji is unconsciously fascinated by his figure. Oh, yeah, no. Come over here. I can't swim. Oh, shut the frick up. Just hold on to me. Just hold on to me. Just hold on to me. As if drawn. But Kaworu doesn't take his hand and Shinji nearly drowns. Kaworu embraces Shinji and Shinji clings to him. Yeah, this was not going to get past the censors. You really can't swim, can you? You're so mean. I trusted you. Oh. And buries his head into Kaworu's shoulder, sobbing without hesitation. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I mean, I trusted you. That all came back. And so, a room to an abandoned building. Why not? Shinji and Kaworu gaze as they dress themselves. An emerald sunset. It's beautiful. Oh. As Kaworu buttons the sleeve of his sailor suit, Shinji notices several lines of scars on his wrist. Why were you crying earlier? Are you scared of the ocean? I don't know. I just thought I'd sink into the ocean and die. Why? To tell you the truth, I was avoiding you. Next to you, I'm such a pathetic excuse for a person. I feel I'm going crazy when I'm with you. But when I can't see you, I feel so anxious. And when I thought about how you shouldn't spend your life with someone as pathetic as me, I just felt like dying. Ooh. I can't see your face now. Kaworu, I'm sorry. I don't feel that way about you. Let's go home separately. I don't want to hurt you anymore. It stands there in a sea of despair. That is the ultimate queer baiting. You can't do that. Show. This script. Cursed! Cursed! You invited him to swim with you in the nude. You clung to him. You encouraged him to go in the deep water by clinging to you when he told you he couldn't swim. And then you just cock-blocked him? What? Wow, no, this script. When did it become a BL drama? Asuka's playing on the Famicom with Pin Pin. I would like to see Asuka playing video games with Pin Pin. Can we have that? That sounds wholesome and cute. Oh, Shinji's not eating. Not one bite. I wonder what's wrong. He doesn't have a fever. Should we take him? That wouldn't do anything. You know, it's one of those things neither doctors nor soak in the Kusatsu Springs can solve. I'm not sure what good English idiom to this effect would be. The full line is more like love sickness can't be cured by doctors or a soak in the Kusatsu Spring. I'm sure that idiot is crying into his pillow about being spurned by the object of his affections. The object of his affections? Yeah, that's the fifth child. Well, I guess I'll go try to cheer him up. What? This seems... Okay, I am glad Ano reviewed this script because part of this is a little... From where Asuka was 2 episodes ago to now, it's a little out of character for her to be like having an existential crisis about her mother and her own self to, I'm gonna go cheer Shinji up after his crush broke up with him. Shinji, I don't know what happened, but you can't lie like this forever. Don't touch me with your filthy hands. Oh, he knows she started the rumor. Oh. And Kaworu walking down the hall alone. Oh. Why are they gossiping about Shinji's crush on Kaworu? For a boy to end up like that over another boy, I made a bit of a miscalculation. So what of Shinji now? We can't have a bisexual pilot in this. No! Oh my god. He seems completely dejected. Masato, I had a bad feeling when I first met Kaworu. You're jealous of Kaworu who stole Shinji from you. I'm his guardian. It's my job to worry about him. Ooh. You've been living with Shinji. Oh. And Masato doesn't answer it. Ooh. Which, after End of Evangelion, yeah, there's, with Masato and Shinji, that whole deal. Interesting! Interesting! I wonder if he got lost. I wonder if Kaworu, the prodigy-like child, got lost on his way here. A suspicious person has trespassed quite a ways in the underground structure. They're heading for Central Dogma. They're using Professor Akagi's card. Oh. I'm so sorry. Oh, and that's the reveal. Oh, I don't like that nearly as much as how it works in the actual episode. Oh. Oh. He's transformed into an angel with a core. This would have totally been Magical Girl Henshin! This is my true form! Oh my god! So he actually turns into a different form! What? What? In a dazzling light! Oh my god, it is a Sailor Moon transformation. Oh, now, I'm surprised Anno didn't go with that, especially with his relationship with the guy that worked on Sailor Moon. I'm surprised they didn't stick with that he has this magical girl transformation. Huh. His AT field deflects it. Oh no. So they rewrote the Unit 2s. So he didn't have the Unit 2 in this. Oh, in this script. Okay, he's heading towards Central Dogma. See, what did I tell you? Startup voltage, startup sistering in phase 2. Pilot connected. Her pulse is disturbed. Oh. The harmonics aren't within acceptable limits. Oh. So she has basically the trouble that she had a few episodes ago with connecting with her Eva, and she's having it here too. Which, in the terms of this script, they kind of hinted about that at the beginning of the episode. Huh! So Fuyu-chan's getting on a Ritsuko for letting the angel in. Wow. And he just fires Ritsuko? What? And tells her to leave? Gendo tells her to leave? Or no, Gendo fires her. What? Oh. Oh. And Ritsuko leaves with the authorized personnel. Oh, which would kind of, I guess if you were going to tie it into episodes 25 and 26, her going down to where the Rays were, I guess this is how that would tie into that. But Gendo firing her, but Gendo just straight up firing her? What? What? Okay, the dummy plug being loaded in. Kaworu is an angel. Ah, okay. We find in Terminal Dogma a large inverted tree. And before that, gate or door, Kaworu senses something. Oh, some room. The room is full of broken beakers and test tubes. It's a lab that was wrecked and left just as is. On the wall is a symbol of the Human Instrumentality Project, the seven-eyed mask. Rainbows come off the beakers as the light hits them. Ooh, so that connection to the rainbow that we saw earlier, and this with Ray's room. Oh, this is how we get introduced to it. Who are you? What are you doing this place? This is where I was born and raised. You aren't a Lillian, aren't you? You aren't a Lilin, aren't you? Lilin, human, that is. You're an angel, aren't you? An angel? I'm a servant of God. When did you realize you weren't? When I turned 10, I came to this city and understood my fate. This is what I was seeking. The real thing is somewhere nearby. Would you take me there? I can't. You'll cause the third impact. You mean I'll cause a horrible disaster just like the second impact? Yes. And Eva is coming after me. It's not Unit 01 or 02, though. Oh, interesting. Ooh. Okay. Central Dogma. The angel and Rei leave the room. From this point on, Kaworu is only referred to as the angel in the stage directions. And Eva... Oh, it's the Eva that they're working on. The prototype for the Human Instrumentality Project. Confirming the presence of an angel. It attacks like a wild beast having spotted its prey. The angel runs away, dragging Rei by hand. What? It barely dodges. Okay, I don't know what the reference is for that one. It crashes into a wall and it crumbles. Oh! Even through the thick smoke, the upper body of a seven-eyed giant can be seen nailed to a cross. Adam! The angel and Rei are cornered by some of the rubble. In an act of utter brutality, the Eva swallows them whole. Nothing more can be done, at which Unit 1 appears. It skewers Eva on its prog knife and cuts it open. What? Confirms Rei. Ayanami, are you okay? Yeah. At some point, the angel made it to the catwalk overlooking Adam. How the fuck did Kaworu get here? Yeah, that part doesn't make sense. Like, he used the prog knife to cut open the Eva to get Rei out, and somehow Kaworu slithered out from under there to go towards Adam. No, that part doesn't quite make sense. The angel stares at Adam, not moving a muscle. And Gendo comes over the PA system. Why do you not advance any further? This is your temple of memories, isn't it? Oh. Why did you not make any contact? Do you pity humanity? I'm the one who deserves your sympathy, because continuing to live is so difficult. And you choose death. Death is the single act of free will I have, the only way to defy my maker. But that's contrary to the basic principles of life. Angels are creatures that constantly evolve. We have no predetermined form, and death is but another part of life. Kaworu. Shinji, I knew it would come to this, so I'm glad we had a chance to swim in the ocean together. Meanwhile, Gendo's like, wait, what did you do? I'm glad we got the skinny dip together, Shinji. You deceived me, you used me. Well, that's not quite right. I had so much fun spending those days with you. You're the only one who can end my life. If it's by your hand, nothing could bring me greater joy, even death. How am I supposed to do that? I can feel something stirring inside of me. It's my instinct right now. If I feel like you did before, I don't even know myself. Oh. And he grabs the angel and crunches him. And then we see, Unit 1's in the coolant and Shinji's washing his hands at a sink. The scent of blood is gone, but I can still feel it in my hands. Ooh, Shinji, you admired him, didn't you? He had everything that I didn't, and he should have survived. That's not true. Only those who desire to live survive. Ooh, now I do like the visual of Asuka in the locker room, and the lockers are all covered in dents from Asuka punching them. I do like that visual a lot. Oh. And then Rei leans against the wall and eventually ends up lying on the ground. Oh. Holding out a warrant, Akagi Ritsuko, you're under arrest. I'm sure you know what the charges are, Professor. Would you care to hear them? No need. It'd be a waste of time. And she's taken away? What? Somewhere, Human Instrumentality Project committee is gathered. We have just confirmed the elimination of the final angel as predicted in the scenario. Now there are no barriers to the Human Instrumentality Project. But we have a new problem. Gendo Ikari in Unit 1. Nerve is of no use to us now. He's been using his position as commander to turn Nerve into his personal property. Our investigation up until now makes it painfully clear that Ikari has been plotting to turn O1 into a god and keep it to himself. As head of SEAL, I think we should dissolve Nerve. And then Fuyutsuki and Ikari plotting something. Well, that makes the episode end. That makes a lot more sense going into Evangelion, but interesting. Wow. So if you guys go to this, if you go to when I talked to you all about commenting about translation, if you go to this link, the first link, there is the full Japanese text. It's just been translated into English here. But Oh my god, that's a lot different. That first draft is a lot different. Way more BL overtones, way more high school slice of life. Toji and Ida are there. Asuka's whole trauma is just like, we don't talk about that here. I don't know, I'm torn. I don't like the way the BL stuff is handled, and not just because Kaworu like totally rejects Shinji. That's not at all. But it's not Evangelion enough, if that makes sense. It's not got that Anno touch of weird and surreal, and it's not art house enough. If that's the best way to put it. It's not got the Anno touch. It just doesn't. It reads like a fan fiction, and you can tell Anno is absent. And that's such a testament, I think, to Anno's vision, is that you can tell he's not in this script at all. It's someone imitating the feel of Evangelion, and they get the characters down for the most part. I mean, Kaworu we only know from this episode anyway, but I mean, Shinji feels like Shinji. Asuka is a little out of character in places, and Rei feels like Rei, but that's so fascinating. And to see how much of it was completely cut out and redone, which I like the final script a lot better. But although, damn, the skinny dipping in the water and Shinji clinging to him, that would have been pretty amazing animated. I'm just saying. And the umbrella scene would have been pretty. And then the rainbow being connected to both the rain and then Rei's room later with the beakers, that would have been a nice little symbolic touch. But yeah. I could see why you wouldn't want to do that for the final episode. Huh. Well, that was cool. I liked that. So yeah, let's, we've got the second draft, and it's translated. So it says the second draft of episode 24, printed in the magazine June, supplement of September 1996 issue, originally fetched from the homepage. And so it's also accredited to Akio Satsukawa. So yeah, so this is the second draft. Anna was like, nah, it's too BL. It's too simple. Let's go back and try and try again. I like the translator's notes are in the brackets. Okay, so Good Haru, thank you. Good Haru, thank you for translating this. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see if how the second draft is different than the first draft, because the first draft is so bizarrely different than how the actual episode ends up happening that I'm curious to know how the second draft went. So, okay, we're going to go into this. The fifth. So we're starting with Masato and Gendo and Fuyu-chan. Oh, what about Asuka? Gendo, we can't keep useless items lying around forever. Send her back to Germany. Oh. Do you have something to say to me? No, excuse me. So Masato she was like, that's cold, Gendo, but then she didn't speak up about it. The fifth child, he's probably a SEAL spy. He's bypassing the Marduk mechanism. They're quite impatient. According to the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's one angel left. The last angel. A Western-style kin painting of rural European landscape in Asuka's dream. And she's 12 here. Oh, she's 12. So she's a lot older because she's only like 14 in the episodes. This is only a few years ago. Oh, okay. So in this version, okay. Oh. And she's talking about I'm being chosen, to be a pilot to protect humanity. It doesn't matter that Papa's not here, we won't be lonely. And then there's a knock at the door. And it's Masato screaming for Asuka. Oh. Oh, that's weird. Oh, so was it a dream or... Oh. That's interesting. Masato just showing up like that in her past. Interesting. Asuka. Oh. So we cut back to the present. She's curled up in the corner of the room, hugging her knees. A male paramedic checks her eyes and tongues with a pin light. She hasn't been eating or drinking. She's very dehydrated. She needs to be hospitalized immediately. And there's no reason for me to go on living. So we're getting closer to what ends up being the actual eventual scene of Asuka in the tub. I still like the tub scene, as gruesome as that opening is, with the woman hanging and Asuka and everything. I still like that more with the tub and the message with that than this. And definitely with her not even encountering it, even though Asuka suffers in this episode quite a bit. I do like that we're getting there in this draft, but it's not quite there yet, right? It comes to room 2. Of course it does with Asuka. Yeah. She notices Shinji in the hall. Asuka's not feeling well. She'll be okay. Okay. So Shinji knows in this. He's in low spirits. Masato didn't tell me the truth. I wonder what happened with Asuka and Ayanami. And then he sees all of them. Mom, what is Dad doing? And Unit 1 doesn't answer. So at this point, it's very obvious that it's Yui inside the Eva unit. Okay, and Shinji is very obvious to the fact that it's her, and he's asking her for advice. Interesting. Okay, all right. And Ritsuko's bound in a small room of iron bars. Oh! Bound by several leather straps. Oh. Oh, so this is her, only in the actual episode, she's not strapped to a chair, she's just sitting in it. But here she's like bound to it. My cat died, the one I left in my grandmother's care. Why did you destroy the dummy plug? Because you're a shitty Lay! Oh my god! I didn't destroy the dummy system, I destroyed Ray! Ritsuko, my girl. Otto, you couldn't leave that line in? You couldn't leave it in? Cheers! Oh my god. That's amazing. Those things aren't human. They're just human-shaped objects. They were destroyed. Ray is just your plaything. I could never become your plaything, though. Oh, this draft, they were like, no, we're going to add all this all in. Okay. Did you come here because your new toy isn't working out so well? Since a familiar toy is here? I'll do whatever. But I'm sure I can't compete with the playful spirit of that doll of yours. Oh. You wanted nothing from me, nothing. Ha! Man, damn, you're a shitty Lay. That's the best. The absolute best. Oh my god. I freaking love it. I don't know, you should have kept that line in. Okay, and then Ray. Ooh! Shinji opening the door of the elevator and Ray's inside. Countless rays are reflected in the stainless steel. Shinji and Ray's eyes meet and Shinji is petrified. Oh, that's such a cool tie-in to End of Evangelion when he sees all the rays coming out of the other Eva units, the ones that were sent by Seal. Oh, that's such a cool, because really Shinji doesn't really see Ray at all after episode 23. He doesn't see her after finding out about the different rays. He doesn't ever see her again until episode 25, 26, and End of Evangelion. So yeah, him seeing her and then being terrified, that's a really cool visual too. I almost kind of wish that we had that animated because that would have been really neat. Damn, that would have been really cool. But yeah, ooh. And then that is a nice tie into End of Evangelion later, a little bit with all the different rays, right? The city's in ruins from the suicide attack, and he wonders about the abandoned city and a strong wind blowing as he stumbles over the rubble. He's walking about, but he hears a piano coming from somewhere. They are all about Kaworu playing this piano. They're even though in Death True 2, he's playing the first violin. They're all about him playing this piano, aren't they? Shinji's walking about and he hears a piano coming from somewhere. The blast has turned the building to ruins. So the school is just ruins. The gymnasium is... That's another thing. So yeah, the first draft, I was trying to think, why is it off about the whole school thing? But yeah, it doesn't make sense in the first draft for Kaworu to be at the school and for Ida and Toji and Hikari and them to be there, because in Rei sacrificing herself, it destroyed the school and it destroyed most of the city. So that makes sense that that makes sense that there wouldn't be anybody there. So they've had to alter the draft and realize that, right? But here, apparently the gymnasium is still intact. A lone boy innocently plays the piano. He has a shockingly beautiful face. And he notices Shinji's gaze and stops playing. Oh, I'm a transfer student. I brought my transfer papers to where the school was supposed to be, but as I suspected, not a soul here. Boom! Everyone was sent away to Tokyo too, the students and teachers. Well, why are you still here? I was left behind. Oh, you poor thing. An ominous sound fills the building. The sound of spirit voices. Spirit voices. Didn't you know in the dead of night in the school gymnasium you can hear voices making merry? Oh. In the high-end period, they called this flitting out of spirits akugaru, which has now become the word akugaru. I'm stumped on how good English rendition for this akugaru is, like Kaworu says, the whole spirit leaving the body thing, but I guess the fundamental idea here is one soul being drawn out by some strong desire. The modern world word allegedly derives from akugaru, to yearn for or admire, but I think yearning fits most here. And the ominous sound fills the building. It's almost like we can hear the voices of those children in the sound. And then the boy's gone. Ooh! I still like the angel. I still like the angel being where we first see Kaworu, but damn, the piano and him and all this and the explanation of the city, that's interesting. Oh. You were looking at me in the elevator. Oh, and so he goes back to Rei and actually talks to her. This is the new pilot candidate, Nagisa Kaworu. He's the boy from the gymnasium playing the piano. Oh. Same here. And they shake hands. And Shinji looks away and Kaworu smiles when he sees this. I still like the angel meeting on the beach the best, but the piano playing is quite interesting. Although I guess you can't have him playing a piano on an abandoned beach after a giant apocalyptic explosion. Guess that's too surreal for Anno. Okay, so we have the test plug test. And that's pretty much like the episode. Number 0 is nearing the contamination limit. That's as far as she can go. Number 1, number 5 can go a bit further. His harmonics are better than Rei's. They're way beyond Shinji's numbers from before when that happened. He shouldn't be compatible with O2, but they're so similar. How can he sync? So he can sync with O1. It should be impossible. Did you hear that from Professor Akagi? No. I was informed about the fifth's existence, though. 270%. Huh. Interesting. That's pretty much like the actual episode as well. It's weird to see Hyuga called Ibuki. It's very weird. Or maybe that's Maya. Who is Ibuki again? Is it? I think it is Maya. The plug hatch opens after the test ends, and Shinji gets out. He hurries to leave. Kaworu watches him from behind. Oh, so the public bath. Okay. Kaworu's slender figure appears out of the steam. Huh. You always avert your head. You always head off before everyone. And Shinji averts his eyes from Kaworu's naked body. They just wanted to have him naked in this entire episode. So he's like trying to deny that he's avoiding him. I didn't know you were the third. Are you mad about that? Are you tense? Ooh. Before you came, Mr. Kaji and Ayanami, what happened to the first? Ooh. Never mind. Tell me. I don't want to talk about it. Oh, so it's confidential. Interesting. Kaworu wants to know about Rei. That's curious. It's made you pretty timid when it comes to human contact. I've always been like this. If I don't know someone, we can't betray or hurt each other. But isn't that kind of lonesome? I was born this way. I can't change. I hate that about myself so much. To be honest, I want to scream and run away from myself. Ooh, I like that. I like Shinji talking about how he was born this way. It's something that he can't change about himself. Fascinating. But I always hear you say you mustn't run away. I figure if I get reborn as a new person when I die, I don't mind if I do. I don't know about that. You seem to be the person who values yourself above all else. Let me see your hand. Your left hand. Again, he sees these scars on Kaworu's wrist. Odd. You have calluses on your fingertips from playing the cello. Cello, I play a little. How lovely. I need to get out. Oh. And he faints! Oh! What? Is this how we get... Oh, we're in Shinji's room. And Kaworu's looking down at him. You passed out and you collapsed. You must be tired. So much has happened. Kaworu notices the cello in the corner of the room. It was my mother's. Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's so interesting if it was Yui's cello. I know. We should play together. You on cello, me on piano. I'm sure it'll calm you down. It must be suffocating being trapped underground like doing EVA tests all day. Why couldn't we see this, Ano? Why couldn't you give us Shinji on the cello and Kaworu playing piano? Why couldn't we have these nice things? What? What? Oh. It'll just be for fun. What do we have to be embarrassed about at this point? There's one in the lounge. I have a startup test with O2 unit tomorrow. Let's go tomorrow after that, promise? Okay. Good night, good night. Oh! Oh! Oh, so he just gave him a kiss! What? Shinji doesn't refuse him. He notices how naturally he accepts it. Feeling strangely calm, he looks up at the ceiling light. What? What? Holy shit. Okay. Oh no! I don't know why people thought... I don't know why people thought there was any like gay undertones to these two. What? Oh my god, this is... Okay. Definitely like this draft better. They went the total opposite in this draft. The last draft, they were like, it's like a nice middle ground is what the actual episode ends up being. Because in the first draft, they're like, no. Kaworu's like, oh, don't, it's not that way. And in this draft, he's like, I kissed you. So yeah, it is that way. And the actual episode itself ends up being this kind of ambiguous middle ground where, yeah, there could be something between those two if you want to interpret it that way. Or if you want to think of it as platonic, then sure. But, oh my god. Well, okay. Somewhere in the geofront. Masato confiding in Hyuga. Okay. Okay. The angels are mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Not just the angels, but Adam, the second impact on the Human Instrumentality Project even. Oh, like just, this was the script to the show, Masato. So there's one angel left. The higher-ups already knew. The assistant commander and even Professor Akagi too. NERV's predecessor organization. Garen seems to have been based on the scenario detailed in the Dead Sea Scrolls. We both got ourselves entangled up in a ridiculous organization. Yes, you did. Okay. He had contact with the committee. A lot has happened in his family life. He's a pretty boy who experienced much misfortune. Just your type. Huh? Interesting. Well, maybe I don't like the translator's notes, but maybe Hyuga has experienced a lot of misfortune as well. Or is she calling him a pretty boy who's experienced misfortune? Interesting. Oh, his birthday is the day of the second impact. Wow, that's the thing. The actual final episode, he says he was born around the time of the second impact, but here it's really on the nose. Again, that's not really Ano's style. Ano loves to leave lots of things ambiguous so that you, the audience, can determine one way or the other. He's like, I don't want to give you answers. You figure it out. Okay. Okay. And he gazes at his wrist for a bit. There's something up with his wrist. Interesting. All right. Ray is waiting for him. Ooh. Oh, their fingers touch ever so slightly. That's what Ikari meant. You're just like me. I have a better idea of what I'm supposed to do now. Who are you? Well, bye! I'm going to be cryptic as possible and then leave. I do think though I do like the way it's handled in the final episode, but that's pretty hilarious where he's just like, oh, I get it now, and then just doesn't even explain about the angels, doesn't explain that Rey could be an angel. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry. Interesting. All right. And the activation test. Isolate the circuits and cut the power. And so he ends up getting in the 2 unit. Okay. And that's a lie. A humanoid angel. Seal held the Joker themselves. I like Kaworu being the Joker card in the deck. I like that a lot, actually. Okay. And so is Kaworu in the unit, I guess, in the O2 unit in this draft? Okay. Shinji running along the catwalk. Oh, Ainami, I'll go. Why? Because you have feelings for him. Oh, you won't be able to dispose of him, will you? Shinji pushes Rey aside and opens the hatch. Damn. Okay, I that's interesting. All right. Wow. That's interesting that Shinji actually pushed her aside to go and catch up to him. And this is where Hyuga and Misato decide to destroy the entire nerve system if all else fails. Probably should have done that. No. Kidding. Then we wouldn't have End of Evangelion, and what fun would that be? And then you betrayed me just like my father. Okay. All right. And then the walls crumble and they hit the bottom and reveal Adam, the 7-eyed giant. I like that Shinji flinches at it. It's an apt reaction. Oh. It vanishes in the sea of LCL. Ooh. The Eva series, born of Adam, a being you should have stayed away from, but you, Lillian, used it and survived. I don't understand it. Oh. So he gets out. So he was in the O2 unit in this draft, and then he got out once they got to Adam. Interesting. I kind of like him floating around watching them battle, though. I like it better in the final version. That's not at all. I think it was a wonderful thing that I got to meet you. I have no intent to keep fighting. I never wanted to quarrel with you in the first place. Once I touch this monster, the path of humanity will close. The path of humanity, yes, the path of human evolution. But it doesn't really matter either way. You're the only one who get in my life. If it's by your hand, I couldn't be happier if it means my death. I do feel a little regretful that we didn't have a chance to perform, though. Oh, shut up! Let's go back together. We'll do it together. I got up early this morning to practice a bit even. Oh, yeah, they weren't going to let him do that. Gendo was not going to let you practice with him, Shinji. No, but that's a nice thought. That's a nice thought. They weren't going to kill him on the spot, but that's a nice thought. You thought they could go back and practice cello and piano together. I can't. I can feel something stirring inside me. I think it's my instinct. They brought that up in this draft, too. The idea that Kaworu instinctively wants to end humanity as the angel. We'll talk about that here in a second, but that's fascinating that gets dropped from the final draft. Oh. And then he grabs him the same way, and then it crunches the same way. Huh. But now the real battle begins. That's such a cheesy line for Gendo. Such a cheesy line. Ugh. And then the same thing. The SEAL committee gathers. The Human Instrumentality Project. Okay. The elimination of the AT field. Adam's children, the angels, are all destroyed. The only angels... Oh! The only remaining angels are us, humanity. The promised time has come. For when we shall entrust our souls to Lilith and purify this filthy world. Oh, okay. So they're going to reveal that in this. We should do something about this troublesome pimple on our face. Gendo. Gendo being described as a troublesome pimple is amazing. He's been using his position for personal property. He's been diverting from the plan. I hereby declare Nerve dissolved and the EVA project suspended. Huh. Ha! So yeah, we are the only remaining angels, humanity. Which kind of ties to the idea of the angels wanting to destroy humanity, and it's kind of like a self-destruction. It's interesting. So yeah, wow. This second draft is definitely a lot more in tune with the final episode. But man, there's a lot of things like, I feel like Anno read a draft and was like, go back. It's interesting. It's interesting. There are more. The first draft has more BL elements between Kaworu and Shinji, but then Kaworu cuts it all off and is like, oh no, I'm not interested in that way. So it feels weird. And it doesn't feel right. It feels like he led Shinji on, right? And then in this version, there's some moments, and then there's the kiss, which is definitely a BL version. Like, that's a big thing there, like kissing him and Shinji accepting it. But then it kind of ends the same way. So I do like Anno, again, like I said, I like that he chose the more ambiguous path and said, I'm going to put this out here. You can do whatever you want. But their recital... it's, even though it's totally illogical they would let Kaworu and Shinji go and have a recital. Like, Shinji, they're not gonna let you go up and do that after you just tried to destroy humanity, but it makes for a cute line. But man, I really want to see Kaworu playing the piano and Shinji playing the cello now. That's so sad. I really wanted to see that. Damn it. I really wanted to see that. That was gonna be so freaking cool. But and then we get a little bit in depth. But it's of him playing the violin and Shinji on the cello. So at least we get something. I guess at the end of the day, at least we got with that something tied to this. That's pretty cool. But yeah. I do like that the second draft has more with Asuka. And Asuka is taken out for different reasons. Like the first draft, Asuka, it felt so out of character, especially after episode 22. To have all of that development with Asuka kind of shoved aside and treated like nothing had happened, when in reality 22 and 23 Asuka's like a shell of herself. That part didn't seem right. This one feels more apt with the actual episode 24 and keeping more consistent with her character. And then I like in the second draft that we logically get the explanation of why all the classmates are gone because of the destruction from Rei. The first draft seemed to kind of forget about that. I'm like, girl, did you watch the show? But I forgot about it too, so I can't say anything. I didn't notice it until reading this draft. I'm like, oh yeah, it would make sense. It would not make sense for Toji and Ida and them still be there. They would have already left, right? But I do like the visual of the rubble and ruins of the school, and there just being like a piano spared in the middle of it all, and Kaworu's playing it. I'll be honest, seeing Kaworu on the headless angel statue is the best entrance of him into the show. It is symbolically the best. I'm not going to dispute that at all. But there's a tiny sliver of me that's like, if we saw Kaworu on the piano in the ruins of Shinji's school and he stumbled upon him that way, I wouldn't be mad. If I had never seen the original, like the final draft, I wouldn't have been mad. But after seeing the final draft, then I'm like, nah, it's clearly the better one. And they don't even show the epilogue with Masato and Shinji and talking about in the second draft about Kaworu and him loving him. They don't even talk about that. So they kind of merged the first and second drafts together. They kind of merged the first and second drafts together in this, which is kind of cool. It's neat seeing the drafting process of a show, especially one like Neon Genesis Evangelion, who's bonkers. It's interesting to see the drafting for this episode in particular, because you have so many elements kind of playing all at the same time. You've got Asuka and her backstory. You have Ritsuko and her. Ritsuko's handled much better in the second draft. The first draft is like almost cheesy, but you have Ritsuko in that whole scenario. Then you have Hyuga and Masato. You have Shinji and Kaoru's whole deal. You have Rei thrown in there. You have Gendo and Fuyu-chan. You have on top of that the Seal and the Human Instrumentality Project introduced. Like, it's all... You've got 7 or 8 elements that are all going in on different levels, tied in and connected into 23 minutes. Or it's even maybe just 24 minutes of one episode. Like that too. It's so impressive in episode 24 that Anno and them were able to craft such a great story that tied together as well as it did in the amount of time that it did and wrapped up all those plot points really well. And that's great. So it's kind of cool to see the evolution of the scripts. It's kind of like the angels evolving over time. The scripts evolve. I almost wish I could see like the original scripts for the other episodes too, especially early on, because they talk about how around episode 13 that the story changed significantly, apparently. And I'm curious how it changed significantly. Like, what was the turning point and how did that draft change exactly? That would have been really cool to see. So there's that. But I also like to, in this whole thing, I do like the idea, it's been brought up in Death Note to me, of all things. Of all things, it's been brought up in Death Note. But the idea that in Japan, in the US and in Western culture, we have a 3-act structure. You have your intro, your second act, and your third act. And I've talked about them a lot in several shows that I react to. But it was brought to my attention during Death Note that in Japan, there's a 4-act structure. You have your introduction, you have your development, you have the turn, and you have the resolution. So there's 4 acts. So if you split this 26 episode series into 4, and I'm not a math person, so I've got to use this is the problem. My brain is like, nope, not going to do it. So it's like 6.5 episodes is an act. So episodes 1 through 7-ish would be the intro. That kind of checks out with Evangelion. Episode 8 would kind of start the second act. So that would make sense because that's around the time Asuka shows up. So it's the development. We're getting into the other children. And so that would be, if you had 7 and you added... So around episode 13 and 14 would be where the development stops and you get into the turn. So that would be episode 14 into episode 21. That would be the turn. So around episode 21, that would all check out because around the end of episode 21 is where we find out the exposition about Gendo and the Eva Project and all of that. So for that to be the turning point of the series towards the resolution, that makes perfect sense because then you have episodes 22 through 26 that are your resolution. That makes sense. So I like that it keeps to the structure fairly well. Cool. So yeah, these were such good scripts, man. It's so fascinating to see like the little elements of End of Evangelion that were showing up already and presenting themselves in these episodes. But man, I will say this. If you watched either of these versions, if we didn't have the final version of episode 24 that we ended up getting, and we had watched either versions of these, and then we watched episodes 25 and 26. It would have been the same reaction, but I like that these earlier scripts have a little bit more like End of Evangelion kind of content, and it's leaning towards what we end up getting with End of Evangelion, and then we cut to 25 and 26. I'll be honest, I'm sure I have talked about this in End of Evangelion, but I really love 25 and 26 after End of Evangelion. It's gave me a whole new appreciation for it. And these scripts give me a whole new appreciation for episode 24 and what Anno ends up finally injecting into the story to make it his own. I think that it's cool that we had this screenwriter going through and making these early scripts, and the second draft I like quite a bit that Sasakawa did this, but you can definitely tell that it's Anno's project. There's just something about the stuff that gets added to episode 24 from this second draft that distinctly read as Anno's. And I love that about that the most. That's probably really good. So yeah. So thank you, Bright Girl, for giving us these awesome links to these scripts to read. That was made my night, highlight of my night, reading about old possible BL scenarios with Shinji and Kaworu. Mm-hmm. Cheers. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this nice, quiet little reprieve. This little reprieve from Neon Genesis Evangelion. I am excited to watch the Rebuild movies, and I'm excited to talk about them. I have no clue what to expect, but I'm sure it's going to be a fun time. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. I'm excited to hear your comments down below. Please no Rebuild spoilers. I'm going to watch all 3 Rebuilds in Thrice Upon a Time, which now Thrice Upon a Time, like 3 Rays, 3 Rebuilds. It all makes sense. Maybe. But I will see you all next week with Rebuild 1.11, and I hope to see you all there. Until then, I'll be back with more Neon Genesis reactions very soon. Bye.